Out of all the amazing discoveries made each and every day around the world, those that emerge from the depths of the ocean are among the most captivating. The world's oceans make up around 70% of this planet, and less than 10% of the world's oceans have been fully explored. This means that a major portion of the Earth's deep, dark oceans may be full of incredible secrets and mysteries just waiting to be discovered. And even with the small amount of ocean exploration that has been completed, some incredible places, animals, and objects have been found. Looking into the depths of our oceans can give us insight into the past, the present, and sometimes even the future. Exploring these areas lets us see pieces of history and gives us ideas of other things that may be hiding just beneath the surface. Here are some of the most unbelievable discoveries that have been made underwater. Bimini Road. Man-made objects like roads and bridges don't belong underwater. Ancient roads belong underwater even less. But off the Bahama Islands, there's an ancient road that was mysteriously laid down long ago, or some people think. Called Bimini Road, this is the speculated route to Atlantis. First discovered in the 60s, Bimini Road is a bunch of stones laid down next to each other like an underwater cobblestone road. The artifact suddenly starts and ends, implying that it's a small part of a long-lost causeway. However, the big question was, how did it get underwater in the first place? There wasn't any large civilization centered on the Bahamas, so conspiracy theorists thought that it was part of an ancient Atlantean highway. Making things even weirder, the Bimini Road matched a prediction made in 1938 by American mythic Edward Cayce, where he mentioned that a portion of the temples may be discovered under the seawater near Bimini. As they usually do, scientists came up with an alternate and probably more reasonable explanation that this was just really a weird-looking natural rock formation. Analysis of the rocks showed no evidence of them being cut by tools. Still, it's an odd anomaly, and Edward Cayce's shockingly correct prophecy shrouds the underwater causeway in mythical mystery. The sunken city of Baia. In its heyday, the classical Roman city of Baia was the hedonist Las Vegas of the time. A prominent resort city for centuries, Baia catered to the recreational whims of the rich and powerful among the Roman elite. The city, which was located over natural volcanic vents, was famous for its healing medicinal hot springs, which occurred all around the city and were quite easy to build spas over. Some of antiquity's most powerful figures, such as Nero, Cicero, and Caesar, were known to have visited the city, and a number of them actually built permanent vacation villas there. Unfortunately, the good times were not to last, and the city was sacked by Saracens in the 8th century. By 1500, the remains of the formerly luxurious town were abandoned. After the city remains were emptied, the water level slowly rose due to the same volcanic vents that were once a draw to the area, and most of the ancient ruins were drowned under the shallow waters of the bay. Today, the ancient remains of Baia can be visited in one of the world's few underwater archaeological parks. Visitors can view the crumbled structures and amazingly preserved statuary of the city through glass-bottom boats, snorkeling, or even scuba dives, which allow people to actually swim amongst the copious ruins. While the city is no longer a resort, its waters still hold wonder. Alien aircraft. In 2011, Swedish diving team Ocean X explored the bottom of the Baltic Sea. And with a name like Ocean X, which sounds like something straight out of a science fiction movie, they had to know they would discover something weird. And they certainly did. A weird disk lying on the bottom of the sea. It was 60 meters wide and looked quite like the Millennium Falcon from Star Wars had plopped down in the Baltic. After this news got out, the UFO hunters went crazy. Theories lit up the internet, and UFO believers thought this as irrefutable proof that aliens had landed on Earth. The anomaly just looked too artificial to believe that it was naturally made. It even looked like it had stairs off to the side. More grounded theorists thought it was the turret of an old-school battleship or a Nazi anti-submarine mine. But that didn't fit with the dating, as the structure was at least 20,000 years old. Finally, scientists came along and showed that it was probably a glacial deposit. But because of its odd shape, it's certainly a weird glacial deposit. UFO theorists aren't convinced with the glacial deposit theory and are sure that this is a government cover-up. Even scientists are still arguing about exactly what caused it. Stonehenge in Lake Michigan. In 2007, a professor of underwater archaeology and his friend were out on Lake Michigan taking sonar readings when they discovered a circular stone arrangement of vertical pillars in 40 feet of water. Those pillars looked strikingly similar to those of Stonehenge in England. They also noticed an engraving on a boulder that appeared to have been that of a mastodon, a large elephant-like animal very much extinct. In fact, it is estimated that the mastodon has been extinct for 10 to 11,000 years. That's several thousands of years earlier than the originally estimated date as to when these underwater pillars were created. It's still a mystery as to how this underwater arrangement of stones got there, why it was built, and why it looks so similar to Stonehenge, which is located all the way in England, very far from Lake Michigan. Ancient city of Alexandria. In 1998, the ancient Egyptian city of Alexandria was discovered underwater in the Mediterranean Sea and was almost perfectly preserved after being buried in the water for around 1,600 years. Explorers were astonished at the great shape in which the ancient city was found, as it is believed that it went underwater due to several natural disasters, such as rising waters and earthquakes. One of the most amazing things that divers found was the Royal Palace of Cleopatra. They discovered marble floors along with columns, kilns, and basins, blocks of dressed limestone, walls, and statues of Egyptian divinities which are believed to be part of the palace. They also found a dark gray granite sphinx, as well as an important religious statue that hadn't been seen by anyone in approximately 2,000 years. With many of the pharaonic remains found in the city, a Polish professor was quoted as saying, "We can certainly say in light of these discoveries that Ptolemaic and Roman Alexandria were less Hellenistic and much more Egyptian than we thought." Japan's Yonaguni Monument. Since its discovery in 1987, the massive Yonaguni Monument off the coast of Japan has been a subject of debate between scientists, archaeologists, and scholars. Many supporters claim that the site is natural but may have been modified by human hands, like the rock-hewn terraces of Sacsayhuaman. If proven true, the site would have been modified during the last ice age, around 10,000 BC. Skeptics, on the other hand, believe the whole structure to be natural, that the drawings and carvings observed are nothing more than natural scratches. The fact remains that although Yonaguni's features can be seen in many sandstone formations worldwide, the high concentration of questionable formations at one site is unlikely. Ghost Fleet of Chuk Lagoon. Shipwrecks are some of the most interesting things to find in the ocean. They tell a story of another time in history, give clues about what happened and who was there, or just look cool. Chuk Lagoon is found in the Caroline Islands in the Pacific Ocean, north of New Guinea and east of the Philippines. Here, the wreckage of countless Japanese ships and aircraft was discovered, having been destroyed in World War II. The Ghost Fleet was the subject of a 1969 Jacques Cousteau film in which the wreckage was explored and the site began to be recovered. However, it is said that bodies still remain among the ships and planes, and the site itself is partially visible from above the water's surface. The wreckage of Japan's Imperial Fleet is an incredible example of an underwater discovery that is not only intriguing, but informational and historic as well. Ruins of Atlit Yam. Ancient cities found in the depths of the sea are always intriguing, no matter how many are discovered. The ruins of Atlit Yam are 26 to 39 feet deep in the Mediterranean Sea off the coast of Israel. Discovered in 1984, the city is believed to belong to the Neolithic era and is one of the largest underwater settlements ever found. Exploration at Atlat Yam has produced the remains of houses, water wells, humans, and animals, as well as objects, artifacts, and mysterious structures dating back thousands of years. One of its most impressive structures is thought to be a ritual site consisting of huge stones arranged in a circle around what used to be a spring. Other interesting discoveries at Atlat Yam include a stone well used for water service and eventually as a disposal pit due to the large number of remains found inside. 65 sets of human remains were also located in and around the city, some providing the earliest known cases of tuberculosis. There were also bones of wild and domesticated animals, suggesting that those who occupied Atlat Yam both hunted and raised animals for food. The Great Blue Hole at Belize. With a name as daunting as this one, the Great Blue Hole of Belize should surely attract curious divers and thrill seekers, and it does. Found off the coast of Belize, this natural sinkhole is the largest ever recorded. Made famous in 1971 by Jacques Cousteau, it has since developed into a tourist attraction. Visitors can take guided diving trips into the Great Blue Hole that was formed from a limestone cave during the last ice age, hundreds of thousands of years ago. This impressive natural feature in the Caribbean Sea is 980 feet across and 410 feet deep, making it quite the accomplishment to dive the entire depth. 2,700-year-old Phoenician shipwreck in Malta. A group of divers discovered a Phoenician shipwreck dating back to 700 BC off the coast of Gozo Island in Malta. It is a unique and immensely important finding as it is the oldest known shipwreck in the central Mediterranean, it is among the oldest and most complete Phoenician ships ever recovered, and it will serve to shed light on inter-regional trade and exchange in antiquity. To date, researchers from France, the United States, and Malta have recovered 20 lava grinding stones weighing some 35 kilograms each, and 50 amphorae of 7 different types, which suggests the ship had visited different harbors. Based on the cargo, scientists believe the ship was sailing from Sicily to Malta to sell its cargo when it sank. The Phoenician civilization, which lasted from 1550 BC to 300 BC, was based in present-day Tyre in Lebanon. They traveled across most of the Mediterranean, not as conquerors, but as traders. The strategic location of Malta in the Mediterranean made the islands a safe refuge for the Phoenicians during their long sea voyages. If you enjoyed this video, then be sure to give it a thumbs up. Also subscribe and press that bell icon for more amazing videos. Until we see you next time, thank you for watching.